Luca Nation, welcome back to another episode of Luca's Tigers and Bronze. Cage is having a good day. He's profit taking. He's having fun.
Well, listen, should have been more profit. But I'm taking less profit is basically what it is. But I'm angry today because the damn Yankees didn't even show up last night. Phil Nevin should not have a job. Sending Judge there was a huge mistake.
Why is that green monster so big?
Why is the lumper so big? What'd you say?
Why is that green monster so big?
That's what she said. So in any event, listen, this is the deal, right? I mean, baseball's done for me. So let's turn to the page, and I have a topic for you today. I have a fun topic, and it's how much stock do you put in preseason basketball games?
None at all.
So
I put it into the performance. I don't put anything into, but watching actually watching the player and seeing if they've worked on some things in the off season that could transfer to the regular season, I do put stock in that. Like if they added a new move, if they could now go left when they've always been going right.
Or if they're being moved to a different position maybe and see how they handle that and that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm going to just jump right into my play because I want to hear what you think about it. And I want to go through kind of what my thought process was behind it and, tell you guys this is an old style LTB episode. It'll be, relatively short, but really what the key here for everyone is if you like the play, great. If not only are we giving you the play, but we're giving you the thought process behind the play. We've done this with baseball. We've done this with other sports where we say, hey, look at the fantasy stuff. Look at the guy who's going to have a good week this week. Look at the daily fantasy stuff and figure it out and go through, right? So here's another one, right? Basketball season is upon us. And I had a play before he had a great game in preseason last night. And it's one of those things where, your answer is great because maybe one game in preseason doesn't mean much. But I'm going to look beyond just the stat line, and the guy's got a new position. But here's a fun thing to look at, guys, right? We do a Sunday morning show with Whatnot, and we do picks and plays. And one of the things Andrew likes to say is Vegas doesn't get it wrong. Vegas usually knows something. Vegas usually has the odds. They're usually spot on. And every once in a while you can find one where, the sharps are maybe off. But normally the lines are where they're supposed to be. Vegas kind of knows what they're doing. Otherwise, there would not be these cathedrals built out there in the desert with your money. So, what I look at today, what are the Vegas odds for the most improved player in the NBA this coming year? Nice little fun little thing, right? Because that's
smart.
Vegas,
I don't even know who's on that list. I'm going to pull that up.
Vegas is telling you from this that these are the guys that they think will improve from last year. And some of them are for obvious reasons, and some of them were rookies last year. We've seen a lot of second-year players take a jump. So Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is on the top of the odds.
Shyway Vlogs making it to big leagues. Let's go.
Anthony Edwards is on the top, right? Michael Porter Jr. is up there in a lot of lists. Zion Williamson's up there, probably before the injury, but hey, it is what it is. Zach LaVine is up there, although he improved. But one of the names that I saw really towards the top, one of the odds-on guys, and I liked it because you layer in, this is what Vegas is saying, you layer in the fact that he's going to have all the offensive opportunities in the world. He's a talented player, and he's got a story, right? That comeback story, and it's Kevin Porter Jr. He's right up there in the top, right in the top 5 of those odds, right? And he scored 25 points in a preseason game last night. They're building a nice little young team around him. They're moving him to point guard, but not a point guard like Kobe White where a facilitate, right? It's a point guard where he's still going to be scoring as well, right? So this is a guy who's coming out making proclamations like, I'm going to have 10 assists a game, but I'm still going to score 30 points a game, But the better story on him is he credits the Rockets with saving his life. Whether that's true or not, what happened to him last year as far as, getting suspended, gun charge, drug charge, weird conduct, getting into a fight, I think, with his GM, and then traded to Houston. And obviously, he put up 50 points in one game? He obviously has the talent, right? I mean, Michael Porter Jr. has never even scored 39. Never even scored 40. So this is Kevin Porter Jr. Kevin Porter Jesus now, I guess, is what we're going to call him. That's my pick for today. And for a myriad of reasons. One, the prices are pretty low on him. There's on eBay Prism PSA 10 base cards available for less than $80. Buy it now. You probably find a lot of them or a bulk of them on Facebook or Instagram or wherever else from somebody who's getting a bulk sub back and be able to pick up a bunch of those with a low cost. They're available for a couple bucks on Star Stock if you want to go that route and have those available to kind of sell in the first couple weeks of the season when he turns it around, or hold them as he progresses towards his most improved player status. He is young. And sometimes youngsters have that blimp on the radar screen, as Andrew likes to say, right? And he did, right? But he played 1 year in USC, right? And this is a guy who's young, and I think he's learned from his experience. He's now thankful for the opportunity he had. This is a guy who could have been out of the league forever, and he got that second opportunity. And I, for one, believe that he's going to take advantage of that. I think everything in his game shows that he is, a talented offensive player who's going to play for a bad team that doesn't have a lot of other options to fill up that stat sheet. So he's going to show up every night and probably be a fantasy, machine. You can get a silver PSA 10 in the threes still, which is not a significant amount of money when you talk about it. The red out of $2.99, which is sort of colory matchy, to Houston now, the team that he's on, not to the jersey he was wearing with Cleveland, but those go for four figures. So people are aware of these. People are obviously trying to grab those low number. But if you can get a select one out of $2.99 for a couple $100 if that's the way you want to go. I stick with the Prism. I think you have this Prism one. You're able to buy probably able to buy four of them for $300. $75 each, and if he comes out of the gate, you probably double your money on these things. Silver as well. I like him. I like his game. I think he is going to turn some heads this year, and people kind of forgot about him. So there's my play.
I love
like
it.
What goes into it, right? And if you don't like Kevin Porter Jr., maybe SGA is your guy, and he's on the top of that list too. Maybe Michael Porter Jr. Please.
Can we stay with Kevin Porter Jr.? Because a lot of people don't realize this. When they hired Steven Silas, he was the Mavs assistant coach.
Mm-hmm.
And the big reason they hired him was because they call him an offensive genius in this basketball world. He's a smart coach, an analytics coach. He understands how to run modern-day NBA offensive systems, which it brings back what you just said. Kevin Porter, he's not going to play point guard, but he's going to bring the ball up the court. He's going to have ball handling duties, just like Luka, but he's going to be score first. Luka came into the league. This was his guy, right? It wasn't Carlisle who was like helping him acclimate to the NBA. It was Steven Silas, and that's a big part of Luka's offensive development. And Kevin Porter Jr.'s silver Prism PSA 10 is less than Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero's the sixth man. This guy's going to be the main scorer on this team with a lot of really young offensive talent.
Green.
It's a brilliant play. It's a really, really good play.
I mean, just because no one's looking at it. But I think that changes. I think it changes soon. You have a pretty small window because if he does what I think he's going to do, I mean, already the window's going to start closing because he scored 25 points in a preseason game last night, and card people see that stuff. Those are the highlights you see on ESPN. People will start to look at it. So I wanted to bring this play because I think the window is going to be closing pretty soon on getting his cards at the prices that are now. Where you're talking about $75 for a base Prism PSA 10 and under 400 in the threes for his silver Prism PSA 10.
I'm going to bring you guys a play that I think is going to be really interesting. I think it's one of those card designs that I think it needs to get more love. I really do. It's a card design called the 2005 Topps Chrome 1952 style.
I like it.
It's a cool design, kind of like a mural looking, and they brought it to the NBA. And the cool thing about that is the NBA in 2005, if you remember some of the guys in the league, I mean, there's legends. So I'll give you – I'm not giving
not a
you,
great rookie class, but some really great players playing still, yeah.
Not a great rookie class, but a lot of great players. And remember the whole rookie thing. Rookie cards have been priced out. They've all ran. So you have to look at other places. And this year in 2005, 2006, that was Chris Paul's rookie class. So obviously his rookie card is going to be more expensive. But you have guys like Chris Bosh, LeBron, Melo. You have Paul Pierce in there. A Paul Pierce refractor out of 299 caged. Not graded. Do you want to guess how much it is?
Paul Pierce out of 299, 1952. Not graded. $50.
On $99. $99. Chris Bosh, 89.
What, are these numbered?
Refractors were numbered back in that day. Out of 299.
Ooh, yeah, man, that's pretty good.
You have some really cool cards. You also have Jay-Z. Jay-Z's in this set for some reason. Shaq's in this set. You have Starberry. My point is, you could take a look at the set. My play is always Kobe. I love the Kobe card. D Wade is in that class. It's a really cool set, and I could see this as. I don't think this is a set people collect. Is that right, Cage?
Yeah, I mean, people. I've seen people post pictures of them, but no, I don't think people collect this one as much as some of the others from that era.
So remember, guys, there's basically two ways, right? You catch a trend on the way up, or you try to beat the trend, right? You try to be ahead of the curve. Bro Namath always talks about being ahead of the curve. This to me is a set that may be collected. This is a set that may be revered 20, 30, 40 years down the road. Maybe not, maybe it is. But you're able to get it pretty cheap at a low price point with tons of legends. Tons of legends who now they, it's funny, like Chris Paul, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Chris Bosh, they're not really legends right now. But as you kind of move history forward, you start looking back and is Chris Bosh compared to, the Charles Barkley, I'm just me, Hakeem Olajuwon, these guys in the 80s, now we look at them as legends, but we didn't always look at them like that. So I do believe there's a lot of legends in the set. It's a beautiful set. You could get a refractor, you could get a gold. They're all numbered, and you can get it pretty cheap. And I think it's worth a look. I think it's worth considering adding to your collection.
You know what I love about it, especially with all the fanatics and Panini and licensing and all that stuff going on. There's going to be, I think, a heightened focus over the next couple of years about the brands, the IP, the intellectual property, the stuff that matters. And Topps basketball kind of had two generations. It had that Chromie generation there, that LeBron Chrome era, the Kobe Chrome era, and Topps for not basketball also had their what I want to call their vintage baseball era, right? Like those are the two big times, right? And this card kind of meshes the two, right? It's got that 52 baseball, that iconic set with that chrome basketball and all of these, these iconic names. It kind of meshes the two. It's a really cool play. Something I had thought about.
I was gonna say that. Like, so you have the front. This is a hilarious one, right?
Yeah, it's a Kenya Martin.
Yeah. But so this is, look how shiny this is, right? But then the back is still cardboard.
Yep.
So that's why I didn't bring any of these graded. I mean, you could buy graded, but truthfully, some cards don't need to be graded, right? Some cards you could hold. Some cards you could build a set out of, and I mean, I think some of these cards are super cool. I love the mural. I like the shininess. I like the Topps logo too. Okay, just the old Topps logo.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like that.
The little swoop. They use it on vintage. They use it on in baseball, the vintage out of '99, vintage stock. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, we talked a little bit about preseason basketball. How much stock do we put into performances? A little bit of 1952.
Are you sticking with the Cardinals tonight? You think the Cardinals take care of the?
I do.
So you think the Dodgers and the Yankees both get knocked out in one game playoffs? That'd be pretty interesting.
Well, the Yankees aren't the Yankees anymore. Like, frankly, they haven't had success in a very long time. The Dodgers. I mean, dude, it's tough, and they're so good. And Max Scherzer's so good, right? Like, if this was Kershaw, I would say Cardinals all the way, because Kershaw can't perform in the postseason. Scherzer has, he's won. He has the, what is it called, the pedigree. So it's bold, but I mean, so do the Cardinals, man. They have some veterans on that team. I'm excited. I love the one game knockout elimination.
It's really cool. It really is, unless you're on the losing side of it, like the Yankees were, which kind of sucks. But yeah, listen, build up for next year.
Have you been watching any hockey?
No, but it's about to start, right? I mean, this is the hockey season starting up, so I will. What team should I be a fan of this year? Should I be Vegas because I'm a Raider fan? Should I be a Vegas Golden Knights? Or that's like front runnery, right? They've been really good the last couple of years. I should get like
they were an expansion team.
Yeah. I live in the shadow of Nassau Coliseum here, so I guess I could be an Islander fan. I mean, I do live on Long Island, which is the Islanders, but I can't. I'll find a team. I'll find a team that I like. Maybe the Penguins. Talk football. Go for it.
Tomorrow, Rams Seahawks. Spread is Rams -2.5. You famously on our Whatnot stream said Russ Wilson is not a top 3 quarterback. He's probably not even top 5. He's top 10.
Right. He's in that window. He's there. Yes. He had a great game this past week.
Against the 49ers?
Yeah. I mean, so what's funny about it is, I don't know what the spread is. You can give it to me, but
-2.5 to the Rams.
The Rams -2.5. And it's where is it? Is it in
Seattle?
It's in. So I don't think the Rams are as good as they looked, and I don't think that I don't think the Seattle's as good as they looked, and I don't think the Rams are as bad as they looked. And usually when you have games like that, I go with the team that's not getting the respect that I think they should, rather than the team that's being overrated, which is I think the Rams win this one by 3. Games in Seattle are interesting though. Seattle plays really well in Seattle.
Does that
Russell,
12th man still apply, even this porous defense?
their defense definitely gives up a lot. But the Rams didn't look so good. I mean, you're basically facing the better version of Kyler Murray this week, right? So you're facing Kyler Murray 1.0 in Russell Wilson. So I mean, the spread is pretty good. But I think if you're asking me early play on this one, I go with the Rams. I think the Rams are overall the better team there.
I'm on the same
Rams
side as you. I'm on the same side as you. More complete
What's
team.
the over-under? 70? That's what I would go with.
54
so,
and a half.
So I think both teams get into the 30s.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think
Thursday night game?
Who's playing defense?
On a Thursday night game?
Yeah, because I know it's a short turnaround, right? So they're not rested, but also a short turnarounds. You don't have as much time to scheme defenses and stuff as well. You might get a special teams touchdown, you might get a whole deal. So I think there'll be points scored in this one. Maybe kind of like, I don't know, maybe a first half. We'll see what the over on this. But I think there'll be a lot of points scored. And I think the Rams ultimately cover that 2.5.
Russ hasn't thrown an interception all year.
Yeah, I mean, he's very good, but he started off MVP in the first half of last year also and kind of fizzled out as well. I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but that is what he did last year. I mean, he was right there. Everyone, I remember week 6, week 7, people were like, oh, Russell Wilson's win the MVP. He finally add that to his repertoire. He's never really I don't think he ever got a first place vote in his career. And then by the end of the season, he wasn't getting first place votes by the end of last season anyway. So he's a notorious fast starter. We'll see whether or not he and his team can keep it up. But I will give you guys this. It's been fun trying to handicap these games. This season's been nuts, right? It's been a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of season. 1 week the Rams look like world beaters and then they look terrible. 1 week the Saints look like world beaters and then they look terrible. In any given week the Saints can demolish the Packers. The Rams can beat the Bucks. The Rams can then come out and put up a stinker. It really is, I guess it's a long season. Shouldn't expect anybody to go 16-0. I did say fade the Raiders. Fade the Raiders and fade the Broncos, and I'm definitely right about that. Those two teams were pretenders. And the Chargers look like a real deal. I may have to eat some crow on Justin Herbert. I mean, he has to win the Super Bowl to justify his prices. I'm not going back on that. That guy's cards are expensive. But so far, he's done everything you could ask him to do, everything you'd want him to do. He's come out of the gate and he's won big games and he's looked apart. He looks like all that everybody who was investing in him could have hoped for.
Guys, I am going to let you know I might be buying some of these Kevin Porter Jr. plays. So
really, you like my play that much? Yes.
Well, I mean, yesterday I bought a Edwards Silver Prism PSA 10, my first real big buy in a little while. It felt good. So I'm like, I kind of want to spend a little money in the sports hobby. And I want to bring this question up, right? The hobby is in an interesting kind of state, right? Summer, we had national, then we had all of that news about the businesses. I'm curious, what's interesting to you guys? We haven't done a coffee with Cage in a little while. In Discord, in Instagram, text, whatever. Let us know. Is there some topics that we've just completely missed that you want us to touch more on? We will. Because we want to bring this show and add value to you guys. So where's the curiosity? Is it more talking about grading? Is it more fanatics talk? Is it more plays? Let us know. Help us navigate, and we'd be happy to do it. So that's another episode.
Kevin Porter Jr. I like it. That's the ultimate vote of confidence. If you're saying you're going to take a good look at it now, hey now.
He's in a good spot. He's in a good spot to put up 20 points, 8 assists a game this season.
He is. The numbers will be there just because there's nobody else to do it. And I think he's talented. So thanks, Luca Nation.